Max Verstappen scored 0 points at Zandvoort. That result officially ended his title challenge against Antonelli. The championship leader now holds a 59-point advantage. Verstappen arrived with a special helmet for this race. His contract extension through 2030 was confirmed that same week. Instead of celebrating, he crashed out on lap 1. This DNF exposed a severe pace deficit. Red Bull can no longer hide the problem. The shocking crash forced an uncomfortable conversation. But there is a deeper tension here. Nobody in the garage wants to say it aloud. What if the crash actually masked something worse? Finishing 10th might have revealed more than hitting the wall. That question remains completely unanswered right now. The world saw a dramatic single-car incident, but the data suggests a deeper issue. The car was compromised before the crash. Verstappen touched the white line at turn 14. He was running 7th behind Hamilton's Ferrari. That is not where champions should be fighting. His starting position revealed a qualifying deficit. That deficit created desperation during the race. So why does this specific combination matter? It happened during his contract confirmation week. Contractual confidence now clashes with on-track reality. No amount of PR spin can fix that. We know he walked away safely. His G-force reading stayed below 15 Gs. He avoided mandatory medical evaluation. Physically, he is fine. Competitively, the damage is already done. Can Red Bull diagnose the root cause in time? Or did championship ambitions die at Zandvoort? Team principal Laurent Mekies has remained silent. No official statement addressed the crash directly. Specific searches found nothing from leadership. Fans must rely on Verstappen's own words. He admitted misjudging the throttle application. The track looked dry but wasn't. This communication vacuum creates its own uncertainty. Is the team paralyzed by the problem? Are they unwilling to acknowledge public failure? The silence speaks volumes after such a high-profile loss. The emotional weight of this weekend cannot be overstated. Multiple outlets described it as his last Dutch Grand Prix under the current schedule. He wore a bespoke helmet designed specifically for this occasion. His race suit was also customized for the home crowd. This was meant to be a coronation moment. The contract news dropped just days before. Red Bull secured their star driver through 2030. Expectations were sky high in the paddock. Instead, fans witnessed an immediate retirement. The celebration turned into mourning instantly. Special merchandise now serves as a painful reminder. Promotional materials highlighted a strong result target. GP fans and official team channels set that narrative. Reality shattered those plans within minutes. Lap 1 changed everything permanently. Verstappen approached the Luyendyk corner at full commitment. This banked turn leads directly onto the main straight. Cars carry massive speed through this section. Residual dampness lingered despite drying conditions elsewhere. Pre-race showers left the surface treacherous. He had actually warned about this exact spot earlier. His pre-race comments noted the final corner was quite wet. That foresight makes the outcome even more frustrating. He knew the danger existed beforehand. Yet he still fell victim to it. The white line on the inside banking proved fatal. Contact with that painted surface broke traction. Rear tires lost grip immediately upon acceleration. One wheel tore off completely in the impact. Debris scattered across the racing line instantly. Liam Lawson had to take urgent evasive action. Gabriel Bortoleto spun while avoiding the wreckage. Bortoleto recovered and finished 13th overall. Verstappen's car slid back across the track. The red flag flew without hesitation. Cleanup required significant marshal intervention. Standing restart procedures began on lap 5, but one seat remained conspicuously empty. His RB22 could not rejoin the grid. Retirement was confirmed before racing resumed. Home fans watched their hero walk away defeated. No recovery drive was possible this time. He exited the cockpit under his own power. Radio confirmation came through clearly amid static. Yeah, that's it. Oh shit, sorry. Those words captured raw frustration perfectly. Later analysis showed peak forces stayed manageable. 15 Gs is the mandatory medical threshold. His telemetry never breached that safety limit. Medical center evaluation was therefore unnecessary. Physical health was never truly in doubt. Psychological damage tells a different story entirely. Disappointment etched across his face post-crash. Special preparations now feel like cruel irony. Contract security offers no competitive comfort. 0 points is a brutal mathematical reality. Championship hopes suffered a catastrophic blow. Antonelli extends his lead significantly today. 59 points is now the gap. Russell and Hamilton sit tied second. Neither faces this particular pressure. Running 7th is not where a 4-time champion belongs. Verstappen was chasing Hamilton's Ferrari at the moment of impact. That pursuit defined his compromised track position. Being stuck behind a rival car changes everything. Clean air becomes impossible to find. Tire temperatures drop without proper airflow. Brake cooling suffers in dirty, turbulent wake. These factors compound marginal grip conditions exponentially. He needed to make something happen, urgently. Patience was no longer a viable strategy. The damp banking demanded absolute precision instead. 1 mm separated control from catastrophe. Turn 14 is uniquely unforgiving by design. Steep camber increases lateral load dramatically. Flat-out commitment is required for optimal lap time. Any hesitation costs significant straight-line speed, but wet patches punish aggression without mercy. Residual moisture hid beneath apparent dryness. Visual cues deceived even experienced eyes completely. The white line acts as a friction boundary. Painted surfaces offer drastically reduced adhesion. Rubber compounds cannot generate sufficient heat there. Moisture amplifies this deficit catastrophically. Contact with that marking initiated the sequence. Rear axle rotation exceeded available traction instantly. Oversteer developed faster than correction allowed. Steering input became irrelevant within milliseconds. Physics took over from driver intention entirely. No other car contributed to this incident. Stewards confirmed it was purely self-inflicted. No investigation was launched into driving standards. FIA regulations treat single-car incidents differently. Without another party alleging a breach, no penalty applies. This distinction matters for championship mathematics. Grid penalties would have compounded the damage. Instead, only points were lost today. Lawson navigated the debris field successfully. His sister Red Bull car avoided contact completely. Bortoledo's spin was classified as avoidance action. Race control made the correct safety call immediately. Red flags protect marshals during recovery operations. Standing restarts reset competitive order fairly, but Verstappen's race ended before that reset. The wheel assembly failed structurally upon barrier contact. Suspension components absorbed massive kinetic energy. Safer barriers are designed to deform progressively. They dissipated force away from the cockpit. Frontal impact angles proved safer than sideways ones. Verstappen acknowledged this technical reality post-crash. Hitting head-on reduces rotational deceleration forces. Lateral impacts transfer energy to the spine. Modern chassis engineering prioritizes frontal protection. Survival cell integrity remained intact throughout. Halo device performed its intended function perfectly. Safety standards have evolved dramatically since 2018. What once might have caused injury now allows walking away. Technology bought him another chance to compete, but chances require a competitive car underneath. P7 starting position suggests deeper systemic issues. Qualifying pace deficits create race day vulnerability. Chasing positions increases risk exposure significantly. Desperation breeds errors in marginal conditions. This crash was symptomatic rather than accidental. Here is where it gets serious. The crash itself was a symptom, but the real danger lies in what Verstappen's own explanation reveals about Red Bull's current competitive ceiling. In the post-race press conference on August 23rd, he did not blame the car or the conditions alone. He took ownership of the throttle timing with brutal honesty. I got caught out. It was still quite wet in that corner, and then as soon as I saw the dry patch coming, I was like, now you can accelerate, but clearly that didn't work, so probably was still a bit too early. Those words carry immense weight. They confirm the margin for error has vanished entirely. When a driver of his caliber misreads a drying track this badly, it signals a fundamental lack of mechanical confidence. The car is no longer communicating grip levels predictably. Feedback through the steering wheel and seat has degraded. Drivers must now guess rather than feel. Guessing at 200 km/h on damp banking is how careers end. This admission reframes the entire weekend narrative. Media coverage focused heavily on the dramatic visuals. Formula One, Com, and GP fans led with emotional headlines. NL Times and Planet F1 emphasized the disappointing home race angle. Motorsport. Com and Speedcaf echoed similar sentiments. Total Motorsport joined the chorus of dismay. But beneath that emotional framing sits a technical crisis. Verstappen's quote exposes a development plateau. The RB22 cannot generate consistent downforce in transitional conditions. Aerodynamic sensitivity to yaw and ride height remains problematic. Small setup compromises cascade into major drivability issues. Engineers cannot optimize for both wet and dry simultaneously. Trade-offs that were acceptable in 2024 are now fatal. Competitors have closed the performance window completely. Antonelli's 59-point lead reflects this new reality. Russell and Hamilton matching each other on 183 points shows Mercedes has found balance. Norris sits on 159 with McLaren momentum building. Red Bull is no longer setting the benchmark. They are reacting to others' pace. Reactionary development rarely wins championships. Grip perception failure indicates sensor correlation problems. Simulation tools may be misleading the factory team. Wind tunnel data might not match track behavior accurately. Tire thermal models could be fundamentally flawed. These invisible deficits compound visible driving errors. Verstappen sensed dry asphalt visually. His brain processed acceleration opportunity logically. But the tire contact patch disagree violently. That disconnect between expectation and reality is terrifying. It means trust in the machine has eroded. Trust takes seasons to build and moments to shatter. Rebuilding requires more than setup tweaks. It demands philosophical reconsideration of aerodynamic concepts. Such shifts take months, not weeks. The 2030 contract provides stability but not speed. Stability without performance breeds frustration. Frustration leads to riskier decisions under pressure. Riskier decisions produce more crashes like this one. The cycle becomes self-perpetuating without intervention. Breaking it requires acknowledging the problem publicly. Verstappen's candor suggests he understands this necessity. Whether the organization can respond effectively remains the defining question of their title defense. Go back to that opening line. Max Verstappen scored 0 points at Zandvoort, and that result officially ended his title challenge against Antonelli. That stark mathematical reality is exactly what he addressed when summarizing the broader competitive failure, stating plainly that this weekend was disappointing pace and a disappointing end to the weekend. He did not isolate the crash as an anomaly. He linked it directly to qualifying deficits and sprint race struggles. The entire package underperformed expectations consistently. Pace issues were present before the rain arrived. Dry running showed similar relative weaknesses. This confirms the problem is structural, not situational. Setup windows have narrowed dangerously. Optimization paths have reached dead ends. Development gains from rivals have neutralized previous advantages. Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren all found performance recently. Red Bull's upgrade pipeline appears stalled by comparison. Wind tunnel correlation seems increasingly unreliable. Track data diverges from simulation predictions regularly. Engineers chase setup compromises rather than pure speed. Compromise breeds mediocrity in modern Formula 1. Mediocrity produces 7th-place starting grids. 7th-place forces desperate overtaking attempts. Desperation on damp banking causes wheel loss. The causal chain is complete and undeniable. Verstappen's choice of words carries strategic intent. Disappointing is measured language for public consumption. It signals dissatisfaction without burning bridges. Team principals monitor such messaging closely. Sponsors interpret tone as confidence indicators. Fans read between lines for future implications. His contract runs through 2030, but morale matters now. Championship fights require belief in machinery. Belief erodes when feedback loops break down. Mechanics sense driver hesitation during debriefs. Engineers notice altered driving style inputs. Data traces reveal subconscious compensation behaviors. These subtle shifts accumulate over race weekends. They manifest as unforced errors under pressure. Pressure magnifies existing deficiencies exponentially. Zandvoort amplified every weakness simultaneously.